A phrasal verb is a combination of a main verb and one or more particles, like prepositions or adverbs, that create a meaning different from the individual verb alone. For example, take the verb turn and the particle on. Together, they form turn on, which means to start something, like a machine. Phrasal verbs are used very often in everyday English, especially in informal speech. Learning them is crucial for understanding native speakers and for sounding natural when speaking English. Phrasal verbs are divided into two main categories, separable and inseparable. In separable phrasal verbs, the object can go between the verb and the particle, or after the particle. The structure can be either verb plus object plus particle, or verb plus particle plus object. For example, you can say, turn on the light or turn the light on. Similarly, you can say, put on your shoes or put your shoes on. However, there's a key rule to remember. If the object is a pronoun, like him, it, or them, it must go between the verb and the particle. So, you would say, turn it on, not turn on it. Inseparable phrasal verbs. In inseparable phrasal verbs, the verb and particle cannot be separated. The object always comes after the particle. Structure, verb, plus particle plus object. For example, look after the baby, not look the baby after. Another example, run into an old friend, not run an old friend into. Meaning of phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs can be tricky because their meanings aren't always literal. There are two types of meanings. A. Literal meaning. Sometimes the meaning of the phrasal verb is obvious because it matches the meanings of the verb and the particle. For example, sit down, meaning to lower your body into a seated position. Another example is stand up, which means to rise to your feet. Idiomatic meaning. Often, phrasal verbs have an idiomatic meaning, where the meaning is different from the individual words. Let's look at some examples. Break down, meaning when a machine stops working, like, my car broke down. Another one is give up, meaning to stop trying, for instance. I gave up on learning the guitar. And take off, which means when a plane leaves the ground, as in, the plane took off at 8 p.m. Common phrasal verbs. Here are some everyday phrasal verbs that we frequently encounter. Get up. To rise from bed, for example. I get up at 7 a.m. every day. Look after. To take care of someone like she looks after her younger brother. Run into. To meet someone unexpectedly, as in, I ran into an old friend at the mall. Give up. To stop trying, for instance. Don't give up on your dreams. And put off. To postpone or delay, as in, we had to put off the meeting until next week. How to use phrasal verbs in sentences. Let's start with separable phrasal verbs. For example, please turn off the TV or please turn the TV off. Another one is, he picked up his phone, or he picked his phone up. Now for inseparable phrasal verbs, I will look into the matter, or we ran into an old friend yesterday. And can you get over your fear of heights? Thank you for listening.